We're gonna be reacting to Mencho's last 24 hours before he died. Feel me? Disclaimer. You guys see the disclaimer? The following film is meant for educational purposes only. We do not promote or condone the actions of the individuals mentioned or reported on this documentary. Thank you.
February 22nd, 2026, 4 a.m., the mountains of southern Jalisco, Mexico. Somewhere in the dark, in a compound carved into the Sierra, the most wanted drug lord alive is sleeping. Two governments have been hunting him for over a decade. The DEA has a $15 million bounty on his head, one of the largest in the history of American law enforcement. Interpol knows his name. The CIA has drones in the sky above his country. And still, for years, this man has been a ghost. Fewer than 3 confirmed photographs of him exist.
Wow, 3 photographs in existence.
Has been a ghost. Fewer than 3 confirmed photographs of him exist.
That's crazy.
All of them decades old. In every intelligence briefing, every wanted poster, every classified file, the same grainy image of a man nobody can find. His name is Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes. The world knows him as El Mencho. By sunrise, he will be wounded and bleeding in a military aircraft, dying somewhere above the Mexican highlands.
Damn.
By nightfall, 6 states will be on fire. This is his last 24 hours. (1966), a village buried deep in the mountains of Michoacan, Mexico. No electricity, no paved roads. A place so remote, most maps don't bother naming it. That's where Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes was born on the 17th of July. He never made it past the 5th grade. By the time other kids were learning to read, he was in the fields, picking avocados under the Michoacan sun, one of 6 brothers in a family that had nothing. This was Tierra Caliente, the hot land, a region where the 2 things that grow best are avocados and organized crime. He left before he was 20, crossed the border illegally into California. No papers, no plan, just hunger. 1986, San Francisco. A teenager gets picked up by police. Stolen property, a loaded firearm. The booking photo shows a kid who looks barely old enough to shave. Not a kingpin, not a threat, just another undocumented migrant caught in the wrong place. They deported him. He came back. 1989, arrested again, narcotics this time. Deported again. He came back again. By September of 1992,
3 times? He came back 3 times?
He was 26 years old and moving low-level heroin in the Bay Area with his older brother Abraham. One night, the 2 brothers walked into the Imperial Bar on San Francisco's rough edge of the Tenderloin to close a deal. 5 ounces of heroin, $9,500. The buyers paid in clean bills, too clean, too neat, stacked perfectly the way real street money never is. Nemesio noticed. He told Abraham, "These men are cops. Walk away." He was right. It was already too late. 3 weeks later, federal agents arrested both brothers on drug trafficking charges. In court, Nemesio made the choice that would define everything that followed. Abraham already carried 2 felony convictions. A 3rd would likely mean life. So Nemesio pleaded guilty, took the weight, protected his brother. He told the court by all accounts to give him the minimum. She gave him 5 years. He served 3 at Big Spring Correctional Center in West Texas, a federal prison built to house undocumented immigrants. 1997, deported back to Mexico, 31 years old, convicted felon, banned from the United States for life. Most men in that position disappear into the margins.
Banned for life from the U.S.?
Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes did something nobody saw coming. He became a cop, joined the local police force in Cabo Corrientes and Tomatlan, Jalisco, wore the uniform, carried the badge. DEA Special Agent Kyle Morey, who would later lead the American investigation from Los Angeles, understood exactly what that period meant. Mencho wasn't rehabilitating. He was studying, learning how law enforcement thought, how it moved, how it could be bought. Every shift was intelligence. He left the force, joined the Millennial Cartel as a sicario.
That's crazy.
When Sinaloa Capo Nacho Coronel was killed in 2010 and Millennial leader Oscar Valencia was arrested, the structure fractured. El Mencho didn't fracture with it. He declared war on Sinaloa, partnered with his wife's family, the Gonzalez Valencia money laundering network, and built something entirely new from the wreckage. He called it the Jalisco New Generation Cartel.
Oh, yeah.
CJNG, within a decade, it had presence in all 50 American states and more than 40 countries.
Damn.
By 2019, the DEA assessed El Mencho's cartel was moving at least 1/3 of all drugs entering the United States.
1/3. Yo, you guys gotta understand this. 1/3 of the whole U.S. Like just him alone was supplying 1/3 to the U.S. Wow, that's insane. Wow. That's
Personal
crazy.
net worth, at minimum 500 million.
500 M's, chat. 500 M's. He got banned from U.S. Started dealing. Dealt 1/3 to the U.S. 500 mil. Oh my God, he actually had a plan. That's insane.
Dollars, potentially over $1 billion. The Mexican
1
government
billion?
estimated CJNG's total assets at $50 billion. In February 2025,
50 billion. These are numbers that I only see in like video games. 50 billion? That's crazy.
That's at $50 billion.
That's insane.
In February 2025, the Trump administration designated it a foreign terrorist organization. The avocado picker from Michoacan had built a narco empire that outranked most countries' economies.
That's insane.
And nobody could find him.
All off of starting off of nothing because he was just hungry, chat. He was hungry. He was, people are hungry for different things, and I feel like people are meant to do different things in life like that. But that hunger gonna make you do what that hunger do, bro. Like, no matter what it is, it'll happen. That's crazy.
El Chapo wanted to be a legend. He gave interviews to Sean Penn in the jungle. He had corridos written about him. He wore his name like a crown. El Mencho wanted to be invisible. No interviews, no photographs, no public appearances. In over a decade, as the most wanted man in the Western Hemisphere, fewer than 3 confirmed images of him exist. All of them old, all of them grainy.
That's crazy, bro.
The only time the public ever heard his voice was through leaked audio recordings, expletive-filled messages sent to rivals, threats delivered from a face nobody could see. Organized crime expert Edgardo Buscaglia of Columbia University put it plainly. El Mencho's Jalisco New Generation Cartel was one of the biggest buyers of politicians and political campaigns, which has given it an enormous social base. Power without visibility, that was the strategy. He moved constantly through the Sierras of Jalisco, Michoacan, Colima, and Nayarit, never sleeping in the same location for long. Around him, 2 rings of security, an inner circle of former military mercenaries, an outer ring of lookouts spread across the mountain roads, watching for anything that moved.
Bro, you know how much power this guy had? Like, just think about it. His assets were worth over 50 billion. He was worth 500 mil to 1 billion. Like, can you guys even imagine that? Like, he started off with nothing. Think about it. It was just him and his brothers. They started off with nothing. They did all this, and they made mad bread. That's crazy, bro. He literally had like his own army, literally, for just him.
For years, it worked. Then came the violence that made hiding harder. May 2015, Mexican army forces launched a military operation in Jalisco.
And my birthday's May 24th.
Mencho's men responded by firing a rocket-propelled grenade at an army helicopter, blowing it out of the sky.
Police! Help! Help! Police!
He bought himself time to disappear in
Excuse me?
army helicopter, blowing it out of the sky.
RPG from GTA?
He bought himself time to disappear into the Sierra. In a single 6-week stretch that same year, CJNG killed 24 police officers across western Mexico, not as a battle, as a message. 5 years later, he
it is some GTA.
sent a bigger one. June 26, 2020, 7 a.m. Mexico City. On Reforma Avenue, one of the most famous boulevards in Latin America, a convoy of CJNG gunmen ambushed Mexico City Police Chief Omar Garcia Harfuch. Grenades, high-powered rifles. Harfuch took 3 bullets. 2 bodyguards and a civilian bystander were killed.
Chat saying they got it. They do got it. Like, I'm just a civilian, bro. I'm just reacting to videos, bro. They got it, bro. You feel me? I'm on nobody's side.
He survived. From his hospital bed, still bloodied, Harfuch posted on Twitter and named CJNG directly. He recovered. He didn't forget. By 2026, Omar Garcia Harfuch was Mexico's Secretary of Security.
Damn.
The man El Mencho tried to kill was now the man coordinating the operation to kill him.
Damn, he's getting it back in blood. He's dead getting it back in blood. Nah, he's him.
News broke that El Mencho was dead. Harfuch posted a single line on X. Our recognition to the Mexican Army and Air Force. No speech, no triumph, just 4 words. 6 years of waiting compressed into 1 sentence. While El Mencho was making enemies, his body was betraying him. As early as 2019, Mexican intelligence had confirmed he was suffering from serious kidney failure. Kidney disease doesn't care how many soldiers you command. It demands treatment, dialysis, medication, constant monitoring. In the mountains, that's not easy to manage quietly. His solution was to build a private hospital deep inside CJNG-controlled territory in the remote village of El Alcihuatl in the municipality.
Damn, look at how much they have, like, right here. They have this whole section in dispute, and they have this whole section right here. All these little parts, but like, look at how little green there is compared to all the red.
CJNG controlled territory.
Look at the green. It's literally all the government owns right here, and controlled by the government. Other than that, literally him. It's all him.
The remote village of El Alcihuatl in the municipality of Villa Purificación, roughly 50 kilometers from the nearest town, he constructed a medical facility for his personal use. As recently as February 2025,
that's insane.
Mexico's security
how much
secretary
bread you gotta have to make, like,
publicly
your own
confirmed the kidney
like
disease was ongoing. Here is the question that investigators would have been asking. Kidney treatment creates a schedule. A schedule creates patterns. Patterns can be tracked.
That's true. Patterns can be
Whether
tracked.
that is how they ultimately found him has never been officially confirmed, but it is the thread that intelligence agencies were pulling. By 2022, Insight Crime reported he hadn't been seen in years. Splinter factions were claiming he was already dead. The cartel was fracturing at the edges. And then, in the 15 months before his death, his family disappeared, one by one. November 2024, his son-in-law, El Gaucho, arrested in Riverside, California, a man El Mencho had personally helped fake his own death to protect.
Oh, that's crazy. He got arrested in Cali.
February 27th, 2025, his brother Antonio, known as El Tony Montana, extradited to the United States. 1 day later, February 28th, his brother Abraham, Don Rodo, was recaptured by the Mexican army. The same Abraham he had gone to federal prison to protect in 1992.
Damn.
March 2025, his son El Menchito, sentenced to life plus 30 years in U.S. federal court, ordered to forfeit over $6 billion.
Damn, $6 billion. Yo, the whole family getting booked. Warrant to seize property. What?
February 2025, his wife Rosalinda, released from Mexican prison, and immediately placed under surveillance every person who knew his location, every person who held his money, every person who could find him in the mountains, arrested, extradited, or watched.
Damn.
By February 2026, he was the last one standing, and he was sick, and he was alone.
Damn, that's crazy. I did not know.
December 2024. The United States Department of State quietly raised the reward for information, leading to El Mencho's capture from $10 million to $15 million. It was the largest narco bounty in active circulation.
That's crazy, bro.
Somewhere in the mountains of Jalisco, the price on his head had just gone up 50%. Nobody came forward. Not yet. January 2026. Washington announced the formal launch of the Joint Interagency Task Force Counter Cartel, a U.S. military-led intelligence unit with a single operational mandate: map cartel networks on both sides of the border and dismantle their leadership. El Mencho sat at the very top of their target list. What was happening in the background was more significant than any press release. According to Reuters, the CIA had been conducting secret drone flights over Mexican territory, feeding real-time intelligence on cartel movements to Mexican forces.
Damn,
a former
that's
US
crazy. They literally had drones looking for him, like 30-something years of where nobody has seen what like his face looked like. I think since he was like in his 20s or something, and then he died at 59. So like 30-something years. They couldn't find him or anything, so they literally had drones flying across Mexico and stuff to try to find him. That's insane. It's literally like playing hide and seek, like every single day for the rest of your life. That's cool. That's insane. That's wild.
Official told Reuters that the United States had compiled what intelligence agencies call a target package for El Mencho, a dossier combining law enforcement intelligence,
on a U.S. pressure bounty jumps to 10 mil, Joint Task Force Counter.
Signals intelligence, and human intelligence, and handed it directly to the Mexican government. This wasn't cooperation. This was a coordinated hunt. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum was caught in a bind she couldn't escape. Throughout her political career, she had publicly criticized the kingpin strategy, the doctrine of targeting and eliminating cartel bosses. Her argument was straightforward and backed by history. Decapitation doesn't kill a cartel, it fractures it, and a fractured cartel produces more violence, not less.
Facts. That's
she
true.
Had said this
that's
publicly, repeatedly, but the Trump administration was applying pressure that Mexico could not easily absorb. Tariff threats, military posturing, diplomatic ultimatums. El Mencho had become political currency, the trophy that would prove Mexico was serious about its side of the border. The trap was set, and the operation moved forward. Now, Tapalpa.
That's wild.
If you look at Tapalpa on a map, it reads like a postcard. A small colonial mountain town 2 hours southwest of Guadalajara. White stone churches, pine forests, cobblestone streets, a weekend escape for wealthy tapatillos, the kind of place tourists photograph and cartels launder money through quietly. That last part is documented. In September 2015, nearly a decade before the operation, the U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control sanctioned specific CJNG businesses operating in Tapalpa. Among them, a rental cabin operation identified as a front for cartel money. El Mencho's organization had roots in that town for 10 years. He wasn't hiding there randomly. He was hiding there because he had always been there. By the evening of February 21st, 2026, Mexican Army Special Forces had confirmed intelligence placing El Mencho in the Tapalpa area. The operation was authorized at the highest levels of both governments. Soldiers were moving into position before midnight. Here is what we don't know and what may never be confirmed. We don't know how they found him. Was it a human informant? Someone who decided $15 million was worth more than loyalty to a dying boss? Was it signals intelligence, a phone, a radio, a pattern of communications that broke his cover? Was it the medical treatment? Dialysis doesn't happen in the dark.
Damn, I kind of wish we knew just like what happened. That's so crazy, like the whole story of how like he was basically invisible for years. I mean, they just like planned this and caught him in one night. That's insane. Like how everything could go down just like that. He was worth literally like $1 billion. Everything just like that.
Equipment moves, people talk. Was it someone from his inner circle? Someone arrested? Someone pressured? Someone who chose survival over silence? The Mexican Ministry of Defense has not said. The CIA has not said. Nobody has said. What we know is this: the objective, on the record, from the official statement of Mexico's Ministry of Defense, was to capture him alive. They planned to take him breathing. That is not what happened.
I knew they wanted to take him alive because that's what happened with I'm not sure. I think it was Escobar, but I'm not sure. But I think he was the one that like everything went down on the rooftop, and like they weren't trying to take him out. They wanted to keep him alive, but unfortunately, like they were forced to take him out. You know what I mean? So like that's what I'm thinking too. Like I know that they probably like wanted to capture him alive. Probably just went down in a fight. He wasn't just gonna just go down without a fight if he was hiding for 30-something years. He definitely fought back.
Sunday, February 22nd, 2026, before sunrise,
last 24 hours,
Jalisco, Mexican Army Special Forces moved in from multiple positions simultaneously. National Guard units held the perimeter. Mexican Air Force assets were overhead. Intelligence personnel from the Attorney General's office were embedded in the operation. This was not a raid improvised in the field. This was months of preparation, converging on a single point in the dark. The moment troops breached the compound, CJNG fighters opened fire. What followed was a sustained firefight in the Sierra. 4 CJNG operatives were killed at the scene. 2 were arrested. 3 others were gravely wounded. Among them, the man the operation had been built to find. When the shooting stopped, soldiers moved through the compound. Armored vehicles, rocket launchers capable of bringing down aircraft, heavy arms stockpiled in the mountains like a small army's arsenal. And in the wreckage of the firefight, wounded and in custody, Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, El Mencho, finally in the hands of the Mexican state. 3 members of the Mexican armed forces were wounded in the exchange. Standard protocol for a capture of this magnitude meant one thing: transfer immediately.
They definitely did not have like the right guard at that moment. Like I wish I knew like what went down, because like if you hid for that long, there's no way like you're just gonna be like that unarmed. Like he definitely, I don't know what happened, bro. I wish like we knew more of like what happened. That's insane, bro.
Protocol for a capture of this magnitude meant one thing: transfer immediately to Mexico City. A military aircraft was prepared. El Mencho, wounded, bleeding, was loaded aboard. The plan was federal custody, interrogation, the full weight of the Mexican justice system. He never arrived.
Damn.
Somewhere above the mountains of Jalisco, en route to the capital, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes died from his wounds.
Damn.
The man who had spent over a decade evading every government on earth died in the air, in the custody of the army he had spent years humiliating.
Yeah.
The man who shot down a military helicopter with a rocket-propelled grenade to escape the Mexican army in 2015 was transported by the Mexican Army's own aircraft. He didn't make it off the plane. In Mexico City, Omar Garcia Harfut, the man CJNG had shot 3 times on Reforma Avenue in 2020, opened his phone and posted 4 words on X: "Our recognition to the Mexican Army and Air Force." No speech, no press conference, no photograph, just 4 words from the man who had waited 6 years for this day. Then, Mexico started burning. Within hours, CJNG unleashed coordinated violence across 6 states. 21 highway blockades ignited across Jalisco alone by 3 in the afternoon.
Highway blockades.
Vehicles set ablaze across Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, Tamaulipas, Guanajuato, and Aguascalientes. Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro activated a code red state of emergency. Public transport suspended, schools canceled, civilians ordered to stay home. Guadalajara went silent. A city of 5 million people scheduled to host FIFA World Cup matches in June 2026 became a ghost town.
No way, where they're supposed to host June 2026? What's gonna happen now?
In an afternoon. Then gunmen entered the international airport.
I seen this clip.
Travelers abandoned their luggage and ran through the terminals. Delta, Alaska, American Airlines, Southwest, and Air Canada canceled all flights to Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara.
Damn.
A prison riot broke out in Puerto Vallarta. A jail guard was killed. The U.S. State Department issued a shelter-in-place advisory for American citizens in Jalisco, Tamaulipas, Michoacán, Guerrero, and Nuevo León. From Washington, White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt confirmed that U.S. intelligence had provided support to the Mexican government. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau called El Mencho one of the bloodiest and most ruthless drug kingpins in history, then added, "The good guys are stronger than the bad guys." In Guadalajara, the streets were empty and the fires were still burning.
A question that outlives him?
Claudia Sheinbaum had been saying it for years. The kingpin strategy doesn't work. Cutting off the head of a cartel doesn't kill the body.
Facts.
It multiplies it.
Facts.
You remove one leader and 3 more emerge from the wreckage.
Facts.
Each more ruthless than the last.
Facts.
Each fighting to claim the territory left behind. She said it before she took office. She said it after. She built her security philosophy around the idea that chasing individual names was theater, not policy. On February 22nd, 2026, under sustained pressure from the Trump administration to produce visible results on drug trafficking, President Claudia Sheinbaum authorized the operation that produced the biggest kingpin kill in the history of the Western.
Wait, so like, so I don't understand this though, cause like, she was right. Like, if you do something like that, it's just gonna get worse, cause like, you're not taking everything out at once. You know what I mean? So like, it would just get worse. So like, why'd she sign off on this? If like she knew what was gonna happen if she signed off on that, and she still signed off on that. Like what?
Hemisphere. Her public statement that day was careful. She applauded the military. She called for calm. She emphasized that the rest of the country was functioning normally. She did not call it an assassination. The official position was precise. It was a capture operation that turned fatal, a legal, procedural distinction that mattered enormously to her government. By midnight, every news channel in the world was broadcasting footage of burning highways, empty airport terminals, and a ghost city that was supposed to host the FIFA World Cup in 4 months.
Bro, that's crazy.
The president who said killing cartel leaders was wrong had just overseen the killing of the biggest cartel leader alive. And literally, she was like watching her own warning come true in real time.
Yeah, exactly.
On every screen in the country before the night was over.
Exactly. So like, why would she sign off on that if she knew what was gonna happen? Like something definitely happened under the books that we definitely don't know. We're missing so much information. Like we think we know, like a lot of stuff because of all this, but In reality, we're probably missing mad information, bro. Like, I wish I knew more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how like you have something like you want more of it. Like, I wish I knew more of it. Not because of like any particular reason or anything. I just like it's just interesting to me seeing these type of things and stuff like that. You know, so it's crazy. Like that's insane, bro.
The question that follows is the one nobody can answer yet. What happens to CJNG?
What does happen?
Analysts broadly agree on one thing: it survives.
That's true. I actually just seen. I was on Twitter. I just seen. I remember how I mentioned that I seen that clip of like the airport and stuff like that. I seen another clip where they announced that his stepson is supposed to be like the next leader or something like that. Like and just how she said everything was just gonna multiply and get worse, and that's exactly what's going on. Like
Mencho built a deliberately decentralized structure, regional cells operating with significant autonomy, designed specifically so that no single arrest or death could collapse the whole. The organization is too embedded, too diversified, too global to simply stop existing because its founder is dead. Vonda Felbaugh Brown of the Brookings Institution put it plainly. Apart from the heads of the Sinaloa cartel, El Mencho has been the biggest prize for many, many years. A tremendous amount of violence is going to happen. One name has surfaced in intelligence reports as a potential
I think this
successor.
is. Oh no, this is somebody else. I learned about him too. I'm gonna let him explain and everything, but I seen a little bit about him too.
Jesus Ambriz Cano, known as El Yogurt, 29 years old, a Michoacan operator who commands a CJNG Special Forces cell linked directly to El Mencho's personal protection unit. He survived a major Mexican Navy raid in 2025 and has allegedly incorporated former Colombian and Guatemalan military personnel into his operation. This is not officially confirmed. It is the name being spoken quietly in the places where these things are discussed. The historical parallel is one your viewers already know. When Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was captured, the Sinaloa cartel did not collapse. It fractured. Factions turned on each other. Violence surged into the vacuum. The removal of the man created a war over what the man had controlled. CJNG, with operations across 40 countries and 50 American states, has considerably more vacuum to fight over, which brings it back to the beginning, to a bar in San Francisco, 1992, a 26-year-old man standing in front of a federal judge, choosing to absorb a prison sentence to protect his older brother Abraham, choosing loyalty over freedom, walking into Big Spring Correctional Center in West Texas so that one person he loved would not spend his life behind bars. 33 years later, one of the final moves of the intelligence operation closing around El Mencho was the recapture of that same brother, Abraham Don Rodo, seized by the Mexican army on February 28, 2025. The brother he had gone to prison to protect, the brother who, in the end, could not protect him. He started with nothing, a village with no roads, a 5th grade education, avocado fields in Michoacan. He built an empire that stretched across 40 countries, moved a third of the drugs entering the United States, and made 2 governments spend a decade and $15 million trying to find him. He went to prison for his brother, and in the mountains of Jalisco at dawn on a Sunday morning in February, it ended the way it always ends for men like him. In a firefight he couldn't escape.
Wow. That's insane, bro. I don't even have like any words. It's just crazy, man. Praise to everybody.